The good news, only 4 limited time sync pairs this month. The bad news, horribly low amount of gems. Are any of these new sync pairs this month worth scouting for? Or are you better off just skipping and saving for the next Master Fair, probably coming on June? In this video, we decide and find out together. So with that said, strap on your seatbelts, sit tight, and let's begin this analysis video. Here we go! Yo, this is Solo, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, the artist Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. And guys, this video is your guide on all 4 sync pairs coming this month. And this is just gonna discuss getting 1 copy. That means I am not gonna touch on any sync grid options at all because, well, let's be honest, 1 copy rarely has anything good to do with the sync grid. So we're not gonna discuss anything with the sync grid. So gonna say a couple of stuff is that we are gonna use Absolutely Lost Mode and I think the Third Awakening's Mindscape / infographics here because I don't have time to do that. And number 2, I plan or normally do individual analysis for each one. I am not sure if I am gonna be able to do some of them because it's Holy Week and I will be going somewhere. So until then, guys, this is 1 copy of each one. So if you haven't seen it, the schedules will be discussed here. The gem count will be in another video. Link is in the description. And all the sync pair scouts, including rerunning ones, are also in another video. You can check my Datamine in a nutshell series in the comments or in the description of this video down below. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and let me know who you're scouting for among these 4. Let's start off with the schedule, guys. So, March 29, that is Holy Friday, Good Friday. Good Friday, we will be having Volo coming, which is sus, because he is evil. Sus. Easter Sunday, we will be having Jack. And they both end on April 18. That means you have roughly 2 weeks to scout for them. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, less than a month. And then April 12, a little break. We have Cosplay Barry. And 2 days after Cosplay Barry, we have Cosplay Seline. And they both end on May 20. And that is more than a month to scout for the cosplay units. Which is weird because normally it's supposed to be the Poke Fairs that have a lengthier time span of being able to scout for them compared to the cosplay units. Makes me curious if there are gonna be like 2 more cosplay units coming. Like this is the first half of the costume event and there's probably a second half coming on the 20-something of April. I'm not sure. But anyway, guys, 2 Poke Fairs, 2 cosplay scouts. Poke Fairs, 10% chance of getting a random 5-star as usual. And every single time you're able to scout for them, you get 4 5-star power-ups, which you can give to anyone. Not only that, but every single time you're able to scout for them, you get 4 roll cake coins of whatever their EX roll is. So, Volo is a field unit with an EX roll of tech. Jack is a tech unit with an EX roll of support. Meanwhile, Barry is a striker with an EX roll of tech. And Seline is a field unit with an EX roll of strike. I hope you guys have a nice idea of what these EX rolls and these rolls can do now after being able to play. But for the sake of the newcomers in this game, field sync pair, 6-star EX them, use their sync move, they bring in zone, and that zone will be slightly extended. That zone will be brought in before the sync move, and that sync move will be powered up by the zone. And then the tech sync pairs will have a 1.5 times multiplier for their sync move. Support sync pairs get a double sync buff. That means your next several attacks until the end of the battle will be stronger. Strikers, if you 6-star EX them, they will hit every single opponent instead of just one. And that's about it for all these roles in this screen. So, that aside, let's start with our very first sync pair, which is Volo. Volo is paired up with a Togepi. If you're able to scout for Volo, you can bring him to the Trainer Lodge and you can pair up with a Gimbal as well. So, one sync pair, 2 Pokemon. So, 2 in 1 if you're just gonna scout for Volo. And then you get a nice snapshot and something like that. So, again, he's a field sync pair. And his stats are decent. 336 attack, 336 special attack. Defenses, tech level. Speed stat, not really that much of a worry since his moves are just 2 move gauge attacks or 1 move gauge attacks. And he is a fairy type. There's gonna be a fairy type high score event coming soon. And if you wanna have an easier time, maybe scout for Volo, you might have an easier time. Then, you have interesting passive skills. You have Peak, Curiosity. Your attacks will never miss. And by miss, never miss. Let's just say that his Metronome, one of his attacks is Metronome. And some attacks of Metronome are not exactly 100% accuracy. Some, 70% accuracy. Some may be lower, 50%. And if you're able to procure a Fisher, which I have not yet procured at all, I think the accuracy of Fisher is like 40 or 30. So, Pick Curiosity, your attacks will never ever miss. That's good. Next, your normal type attacks will become fairy type moves. Now, I'm not sure about this one because Metronome is the only normal type attack here. So is it every single move that Metronome does becomes a fairy type attack? So we're discussing all the moves of Metronome right now. It says Giga Impact, Hyper Beam, Blast Burn, Inferno, Hydro Cannon, Frenzy Plant, Zap Cannon, Dynamic Punch, Gunk Shot, Mega Horn, and a possible Fisher over here. I'm not sure if all of those attacks will become fairy type or is only the normal type attacks will become fairy type. And those normal type attacks are Giga Impact and Hyper Beam. So Giga Impact might become fairy type, Hyper Beam might become fairy type, and the rest maintains like fire type, water type, grass type, electric type, fighting type, poison type, bug type. Or is everything gonna become bugged fairy type? We'll have to see about that. But it's gonna be funny, like Inferno causes burn. So, a fairy type attack, if it transforms to fairy type attack and then the opponent gets burned, that's gonna be interesting. So, we'll have to see once he comes out how this works, how the moves work. So, will it Metronome, then the normal type attacks become fairy type attacks, or every single thing becomes fairy type? Then, it will turn the field of play into Fairy Zone. So, that's good. The moment you use Metronome, it will become Fairy Zone. Business Opportunity lowers one of the target's following stats by 1 stat rank at random if you hit the opponent, and then it will charge your move gauge by 1 when your attack move hits. I'm not sure if Dazzling Gleam will charge your move gauge by 3 or by 1 because Dazzling Gleam hits every single opponent. And it basically charges your move gauge every single time the move hits. So either charge the move gauge by 3 or by 1. Metronome will charge the move gauge by the number of opponents that, Metronome hits. And by the looks of things, Giga Impact, Hyper Beam, Blast Burn, Inferno, Hydro Cannon, Frenzy Plant, Zap Cannon, Dynamic Punch, Gunk Shot, Mega Horn. They're only 1 targets. So, maybe recover 1 move gauge. Move gauge refresh 9. Circle Team Sync moves up 3. If there is a circle in the allied field of play, whether it is Sinnoh Circle, Kanto Circle, Johto Circle, whatsoever circle, Physical Circle, Defense Circle, as you can see over here, this is a Sinnoh Defensive Circle. So whatever circle you have, every single sync move will be powered up by around 30% damage for every single one of your sync pairs. That's a good thing. That's another multiplier for everyone. And if you have Kanto Circle, you know, bring in Red, Champion Red, and the more physical moves or special moves up next effect he has as well, it becomes more powerful. And then there's the circle powers up Champion Red already, and then this passive skill will power up additionally and something like that, so will become stronger. Dazzling Gleam is one of his attacks. Sinnoh Solidarity gives everyone a physical moves up next effect and a special moves up next effect, and then applies Sinnoh Defensive Circle to the field of play. This is similar to all the past circles, except that the defense is going to be higher than the offense, to a maximum of power up 20% for your normal attacks and sync moves, and a maximum damage reduction of 25% for both sync moves and both your normal attacks. Masterful Metronome is his buddy move. This is unlimited as long as you use Metronome and Dazzling Gleam alternately. So use Dazzling Gleam to unlock Metronome, and then you use Masterful Metronome, and then it will lock itself again, and you use Dazzling Gleam, then you swap back to Masterful Metronome, and stuff like that. So this is good because it also raises everyone's physical moves up next effect and special moves up next effect. Just like how Champion Rosa is, but the difference is that you can only do this every other turn. And then this is an investment, is a trainer move that you can use on any of your allies to raise their attack and special attack by 4 stat ranks and maximize your critical hit rate. So that is Volo. And one more thing about Volo is Masterful Metronome also activates one of several effects. And there's a 16% chance of giving yourself a move gauge acceleration, 16% chance of physical damage reduction, 16% chance special damage reduction, 16% chance critical hit defense, 16% chance stat reduction defense, 16% chance status condition defense. And these can pile up because these effects do not just cut off instantly. So I think you can stack them up until one effect fades and stuff. Just use Dazzling Gleam, then stack up another effect, Dazzling Gleam, stack up another effect, Dazzling Gleam, stack up another effect. And again, Absol-utely was not sure if Fissure is actually included in the Masterful Metronome list of moves. So if Fissure is there, then Fissure will never miss, because I've seen a video somewhere that Togepi in the past, Springberg, was able to activate Fissure, but Fissure missed because Fissure has very low accuracy. So this Masterful Metronome Fissure, if there's Fissure, will never miss. And guys, that is it for Volo. So this is again a field sync pair. So by 6-star EXing him, your sync move is gonna bring in Fairy Zone. And you can also bring in another Fairy Zone by using Masterful Metronome. When you use Masterful Metronome, it will bring in Fissure for the very first time you use Masterful Metronome. Status move each battle. Yes, Sinnoh Solidarity is a status move, but it's a trainer move rather than a Pokemon move. So use Masterful Metronome, bring in Fairy Zone, and then bring in another Fairy Zone, which is gonna be extended once you use your sync move. And this is also a tech sync pair. So if you have him EX rolled, his sync move is gonna be powered up by 1.5 times damage. This is a Pokefair that maxes out with 5 copies, but we are just gonna discuss 1 copy here. So let's move on, guys. Next is Jacques and Farigiraf. This is a tech sync pair with an EX roll of support. This is okay, and I prefer this rather than a support sync pair with an EX roll of tech, because normally supports that get tech EX roll do not exactly have multipliers built in, but tech sync pairs have multipliers built in, and then the support roll just buffs it up So, something like that. He has very high HP stats, 710, with very high special attack stats, and pretty okay speed. And you have your passive skills, Jack's Lesson, reduces MP by 1 for the user's moves that have the berry effect tag, and raises its special attack and special defense by 2 stat ranks when the attack move is successful. So his berry move is Lumberry, and this is basically full heal. So if you do not use Lumberry, every single time you attack an opponent, you will use up 1 Lumberry and raise your special attack stat +2 and raise your special defense +2. Okay? Why? Why is that? Well, we'll see very soon. Thing move, Restore Berry MP3. Every single time you use your sync move, you get to recover every single Lumberry. So, that means the moment you attack an opponent, you get to, again, raise your special attack stat by 2, raise your special defense +2. That means +4 stat ranks each time you use Twin Beam. Strike stat up to 9. When you attack an opponent, you raise a random stat by 2. And if you use Twin Beam, it will hit 2 times in a row. So, the moment you use Twin Beam, you get to raise quite a number of stats. Jack's Lesson will raise your special attack +2, raise your special defense +2. Strike stat up to 9 will raise a random stat +2 and another random stat +2. So every single time you attack an opponent, unless you raise a duplicate stat, like for example, you raise that strike stat up to 9, raises the special attack and another special attack when you already have your special attack stat max with Jack's Lesson. Well, that's the only case that you don't raise stats. Now, why do you want to raise stats very quickly? It's because of his trainer move, Experimental Stored Power. This will only be unlocked if you have your stats 10 stat ranks up or more. And the moment you use Experimental Stored Power, your stat increases go back to 0. This holds him back. At the same time, it's not that hard to raise his stats because just using your Twin Beam like twice normally should unlock Experimental Stored Power. So that's very sus and interesting at the same time. So what is Experimental Stored Power anyway? Except in certain circumstances, everything will be critical hits. The higher the stats are, the stronger the power of Experimental Stored Power. So this is, I think this is gonna be really, really, really powerful, you know, whatchamacallit, really powerful buddy move. But take note of the time that you use this, because the moment you use this, all your stat increases go down back to 0. If the opponent's gonna use a sync move on you, and you have your defense, special defense +6, and you use your Experimental Stored Power just before the opponent uses your sync move, your defense increases go down to 0, and you receive full damage from the opponent. So take note of when you use Experimental Stored Power, but this is gonna be quite strong. And there you have it. It's a trainer move. If the user stats are raised, the amount of raised stats will be doubled. So if you have raised your special attack stat by 2, if you use there you have it, it will raise up +2 again, it will become double. And then it will give you a gradual healing effect, and it will give you a super effective up next effect, and you can use this twice to hit the opponent with much stronger damage. So that is Jack. A very interesting sus usage of this sync pair. You get to raise a lot of stats. Again, you can raise up to a maximum. Twin Beam. Every use of Twin Beam will raise your attack, special defense +2. And then, actually guys, I'm not, in fact, Twin Beam hits the opponent twice, right? So is it that Twin Beam, every single time you attack an opponent, you raise your attack and special attack, special defense +2, or your first Twin Beam attack, your strikes stat up to 9 will raise a random stat +2, that's +6 stats. And then your second Twin Beam attack, because it hits twice in a row, will raise another +6. Or if you're unlucky, less stats. Is it something like that? I have no idea. Is it just one turn, one Twin Beam? You can use experimental stored power immediately, or two Twin Beams, use experimental stored power immediately. So, he's not bad. He's just a very sus usage sync pair, and the built-in sync move multiplier. The more your stats are raised, the stronger your sync move is gonna be, and that is just very, very, very strong psychic type sync pair. But we just had our psychic type, you know, high score event. Do you need another psychic type? But I can say that this sync pair is very, very, very strong. It's just tricky to use. So that's Jack at 1 copy. Let's move on to Barry and Heracross. So this sync pair is a striker which can mega evolve. And as you can see over there, the stats, her mega evolve stats at level 150, the attack stat goes up to 504. So that's very, very strong. And if you have him EX rolled, that's a tech EX roll. So a striker can hit everyone. Tech EX roll will make your damage multiply by 1.5 times damage, and that will become way stronger. Anyway, this is a bug type sync pair, and we just had 2 bug types that got powered up. Best Boy Nolan finally got his 6-star EX, and then Guzma got a little power up with his sync grid. So if you have any of them, well, you definitely should have Best Boy Nolan. If you have Guzma, you can completely skip this, because Guzma is pretty good as well. Best Boy Nolan should be good with DPS, although now you can use the inertia AoE attack to hit the opponent stronger. But if you prefer an even stronger bug type sync pair, well, this might be the one you're looking for. So before Mega Evolution, you have a passive skill, guaranteed triple. That means your pin missile will attack always 3 times, minimum 3 times. After Mega Evolution, that means after you use your first sync move using Barry, it will become no quarter. That means every single time you use pin missile, you attack 5 times in a row. Entry attack up and speed up 2. At the start of the battle, you raise your attack stat and speed stat +2 stat rank. Piercing gaze, your attacks will never miss. Very, very ordinary passive skills. And as for the attacks, you have pin missile again, guaranteed triple before Mega Evolution, and after Mega Evolution, you will always hit 5 times. Close combat is a fighting type attack that lowers your own defense and special defense -1 stat rank. Spiral Mega Horn is a 4-move gauge attack that you can use when you hit the opponent a total of 5 times. And then when you use Spiral Mega Horn, it will be deactivated. So just like the last 2 sync pairs, this is alternate. You want to use their normal attack first, which is Pin Missile. If you use Close Combat, it's gonna be much slower. You want to use Pin Missile first. After Mega Evolution, you can use Spiral Mega Horn, and then you have to switch back to Pin Missile, and then you have to use Spiral Mega Horn, Pin Missile, Spiral Mega Horn. Just like Volo, you have to use Dazzling Gleam, then Masterful Metronome, Dazzling Gleam, Masterful Metronome, Dazzling Gleam, Masterful Metronome. Just like Jack, you have to use Twin Beam, then Experimental Stored Power, then Twin Beam, Experimental Stored Power, Twin Beam, Experimental Stored Power. Maybe you might have to use more than 1 Twin Beam. So this is just the same as the last 2 sync pairs, which is the theme of this month. We'll have to see with Seline how it goes. So this power of the move is not lowered even if there are multiple targets. Spiral Mega Horn hits every single opponent, and that's good. Because if I'm not mistaken, we do not exactly have a physical bug type attack that can hit everyone. Yes, we have a bug type attack that can hit everyone, that's Struggle Bug, but Struggle Bug is a 2-move gauge attack, not so strong, and it's a special attack. So, Spiral Mega Horn is your very strong physical type AoE bug type attack. Going ahead, reduces your sync move counter -1, raises your attack stat +2, raises your critical hit rate +3, and gives you an endure effect. So, the maximum you can do here at 1 copy is raise your attack stat +4, maximize your critical hit rate, give you an endure effect, and raise your speed stat +2. So that is Barry. And the moment you use your sync move on the opponent, you will Mega Evolve into Mega Heracross. And like Mega Evolve Pokemon or Mega Evolution sync pairs, the damage, the power of the sync move is not exactly strong. It's only 160 if you have 1 copy versus 300 for Jack versus 250 for Volo. So your Mega Evolving sync pairs not really that strong for your sync move, but you know, it's gonna be quite nice because your sync move, or rather your buddy move, is an AoE, very strong 4-move gauge attacks. So you wanna focus on that buddy move instead of the sync move. But you wanna Mega Evolve first so that you can have no quarter, which means every other turn you'll be able to hit the opponent with AoE bug type damage. Guys, that's it for Barry. 1 copy, very strong buddy move, but no additional multipliers for everything else. So 2 copies, 3 copies, definitely better, but we're just talking about 1 copy here. And again, if you want to complete your Mega Evolving Pokemon, there you go, Mega Heracross is over there. Last but not the least, we have Seline and Scissor, which also can Mega Evolve. This is a field sync pair with an EX roll of Strike. That means if you 6-star EX him and her rather, and give her the EX roll, she'll bring in Steel Zone first, then your sync move will hit everyone powered up with Steel Zone. So, your defense stat and special defense stat is the one that gets boosted when you Mega Evolve, as opposed to Barry, which your attack stat is gonna go up. For Seline, it's just the defenses that go up. And not to say that the attack stat is low, it's 426, it's pretty high. And then this is an interesting sync pair because it's trying to act as a support. Every single time you attack an opponent, you raise every single one of your sync pairs defense stats +1, physical defense +1. If you have Steel Zone, your move gauge will charge quicker. And that Metallic Acceleration 2 will just become Metallic Acceleration 3 after Mega Evolution. That will not really be a huge difference, but it will definitely be a little improvement. And then your Metallic Power 2, which powers up your normal attacks by 20%, will become Metallic Power 5. If there's Steel Zone and you Mega Evolve, that means your attacks will be 50% stronger. What are her attacks? Metal Claw has a chance of raising your attack stat +1. Weak, but fine. Steel Wish changes the field of play into Steel Zone. How many times can you bring in Steel Zone? At 1 copy, 2 Steel Wishes, 1 sync move at 6-star EX. So 3 times Steel Zone for Seline. Metallic Bullet Punch is unlocked the moment you have Steel Zone in the allied field of play. And this is whatchamacallit, this is a quick attack. You can use Metallic Bullet Punch 3 times. And if you have Mega Evolve your Scissor, every single time you use Metallic Bullet Punch, you restore 1 MP. But if you do not have Scissor Mega Evolve yet, you will reduce your buddy move MP -1, And there's a chance that you will run out of metallic bullet punches. Just in case you decide not to Mega Evolve Scissor, you bring in Steel Zone. Like for example, you use Steel Wish, and then your metallic bullet punch will unlock. You use 3 metallic bullet punches, it's gonna be gone forever until the next battle. But if you have your Scissor Mega Evolve and you have Steel Zone, you use metallic bullet punch, you restore 1 MP. You use metallic bullet punch, you restore 1 MP. Your metallic bullet punch will never run out once you Mega Evolve. And you want to focus on using metallic bullet punch, metallic bullet punch, metallic bullet punch, metallic bullet punch. And every single time you use it, the opponent will flinch. That's going to be very, very fun to use if you have permanent, permanent zone, permanent field effects. It's just gonna cause the opponent not to be able to do anything at all in Champion Stadium. So that's gonna be fun to use. And that's about it, guys. That is Metallic Bullet Punch. It just makes the opponent flinch. If you have Mega Evolve, it will restore 1 body move MP. And it will only unlock when there's Steel Zone. So the moment Steel Zone is gone, it will lock itself. Loading to full power, you can use this on any ally and raise your attack stat and raise that ally's attack stat and critical hit rate +2. So not +3, critical hit rate +2 only. That's an 80% chance of landing a critical hit with a normal attack and a 50% chance of landing a critical hit with a sync move. And the moment you use your sync move, you will become Mega Scissor. And again, as a field unit, you bring in Steel Zone at the first, with your first sync move. And that Steel Zone will be slightly extended. And by 6-star, or rather by giving her the EX roll, it will hit all opponents as well. So this one is the only one out of the 4 sync pairs that has a different buddy move. Because all the other buddy moves we have, you have to use them alternately. Dazzling Gleam, Masterful Metronome, Dazzling Gleam, Masterful Metronome, Dazzling Gleam, Masterful Metronome. This one for Jack, Twin Beam, Experimental Stored Power, Twin Beam, Experimental Stored Power, or maybe 2 Twin Beams, 3 Twin Beams, Experimental Stored Power, as long as you have your stat ranks 10 or up. Barry, on the other hand, Pin Missile, Spiral Mega Horn. If you do not have him Mega Evolve yet, you'll have to use 2 Pin Missiles before Spiral Mega Horn. If you decide to use Close Combat, 5 Close Combats before Spiral Mega Horn, 5 Close Combats before Spiral Mega Horn. But for Seline, Steel Wish, Metallic Bullet Punch, Metallic Bullet Punch, Metallic Bullet Punch, Metallic Bullet Punch, Metallic Bullet Punch. So, as a steel type that can make the opponent flinch 100%, I like this. I like this. And I probably will want to use her a lot because I'd prefer her right now over Marnie or Palentine's Marnie. Because Palentine's Marnie, well, has Growl, has Iron Head, but pretty slow. But this one, free move. Metallic Bullet Punch is free. Or you can pair them up. That can also work. Or, we also have another steel type field unit in the form of Thornton. Variety Thornton is also very strong. But Seline, just 100% flinch as long as they're Steel Zone. Much, much fun to use. And guys, those are the 4 sync pairs of the month. And yeah, tell me who you're scouting for. Again, if you're gonna ask me personally who you should scout for, I'd say scout for whoever you need, whatever type you need. But let me give you some alternatives. Fairy type? Well, Fairy type field unit, not exactly a lot. Probably Volo would be quite useful for Fairy Zone. That will bring in Fairy Zone as well as a defensive circle. And then Jack, we have a lot of psychic types. If you have Signasuit Steven, Signasuit Steven is the craziest. People were going crazy. Signasuit Steven is finally back. If you have Signasuit Steven, you can completely skip Jack. Barry, if you do not have strong bug types, You can EX your Guzma. You can EX your Best Boy Nolan. If you prefer stronger bug type, there's Cosplay Emmet if you have, Cosplay Ingo, stuff. Or, what else? What else? There's a couple. But if you prefer someone who can AoE attack, physical attack, there's Cosplay Barry over here. And Seline, well, that's gonna be fun. Steel Zone, Bullet Punch, Flinch. So, every single one of these sync pairs has their perks, has their cons. Let me know in the comment section who you're scouting for among these 4 sync pairs. But until then, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button for me because that will help with the YouTube algorithm and I would appreciate that. And if you want to support me even more, you can go ahead to my coffee.com/SPLgum page to support me further studies on October. It's happening soon. I'm only at 1% of my goal. If you want to help out, then I would be eternally grateful. Otherwise, you can go ahead to click the join button and become a member of my channel just like these awesome people up here. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you to Jeremy who just reached 3 years. Thank you to Kosei who just reached 2 years. And the rest, thank you guys so much. Shadowphil is taking a break, but you are the OG and you have been supporting me craziest time with Master Bolt here. So I'm gonna keep your name there until you're better off in life. So thank you for all the support, Shadowphil. And thank you to my very active Pokeball tier members. Alstin, Roy, Luca, and Jeremy just lurks around every now and then. Iwis is sus. Kose is sus. Surya, Apsaras, I miss you. See you soon. Sophia, thank you for Great Ball tier. And Fraudulent Memes, why you change your name? Sus! Until then, guys, thank you for watching this video. This is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. You are this Team Skull Grunt. I will see you in the next video. Rawr.